This is a current investigation. We do have also fire marshals on the scene conducting an investigation to the cause of the potential building explosion.
Can you talk a little bit about, obviously this is a nursing care and a rehabilitation center. It has a very fragile population. Just talk about the need to get them out. I mean, the electricity was cut, there were smoking conditions. I mean, this was kind of a tricky operation.
It was, and the facility health workers, they were very helpful with us being able to move the patients out. As you can see, the number of apparatus that's leaving the scene, we did have a lot of people here able to help as well. There were no injuries. All searches have been negative. So it's been a really combined effort, and like I said, fortunately there have been no injuries.
But kind of talk about their situation, and that, you know, I mean, everyone that I saw came out by wheelchair.
Right. So it does vary. There are several bedridden residents here. Many of them are not able to walk, so they're in wheelchairs, which, as you mentioned, does complicate the removal efforts and even the transport efforts, because not all of our ambulances are capable of sitting a citizen in a wheelchair in that unit. So that's why we leverage our other partners, Montgomery County, DC, and Arundel, and even some of the private ambulance companies that have units set up to transport citizens in wheelchairs.
Can you even get into how many emergency personnel were here this morning? Is it even accountable at this point?
Probably not. I mean, we had 2 alarms worth of units, so that probably brought about 60 people. I would say probably 100 personnel altogether. Probably a safe bet.
It's still way too early. You said it was in the kitchen where the fire started, but what caused the explosion is still too early?
Too early, right. That's what our investigators are here. And we have to do some shoring right now, so our structural collapse team's on the scene doing some shoring of that area so the investigators can get in to determine the cause.
Was the kitchen kind of on the verge of collapse, or?
So that's where the bulk of the damage was. For me to say that's where the collapse was, I couldn't give you that information just yet.
But I guess there was enough structural damage from the explosion.
Correct.
Can you just kind of explain how significant it was? Just paint a picture for us.
So in the rear of the facility, which looks like the kitchen area, the back wall, the majority of the back wall was blown out. There were some dumpsters near that back wall area that were blown probably 20 to 30 feet from the building itself. So it did blow out the majority of the wall with the partial roof collapse as well.
Is there any reason to believe, and I know it's early, natural gas?
I couldn't speculate on that. So let's say our investigator team, they're just getting started. We had a little bit of shoring to do. So it's going to be probably a couple hours before we're able to really determine the cause and origin.
In the smoking conditions, I mean, this obviously was probably a very good thing that this happened in the kitchen area, not where the residents were living.
Right.
Did any of the smoke actually reach their rooms, or was it contained?
So most of the doors were closed. Obviously, it was very early in the morning. There was some residual smoke in the hallway that we were able to use our fans to blow the smoke out of there, so it didn't harm the residents.
With that, building is not possible to date back to like soon, or they're gonna have to wait?
I would say so. Right now, the power's been cut off, water's been cut off. I mean, I couldn't even give you a timeline on that. That's probably going to be weeks. There's a significant amount of damage to the rear of the structure that has to be repaired before they're able to get back in.
Is there any reason to be concerned about further damage? I know we've talked to some residents who said that in the area they've had some concerns about gas smells and that sort of thing. Is there any reason that we have to be concerned that there might be something else in play here that could potentially be dangerous to other residents?
Not to that facility. Like I said, our investigator team is here, so they'll look at cause and origin, and both power and gas companies are here as well. So yeah, we'll do a thorough investigation before we turn the facility back over.
Not just the facility, but the area in general, because we have had, I had 2 people asking about that today.
Okay.
So
I was not aware. I couldn't speculate on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, I appreciate your patience. It was a very dynamic scene, so I recognize you guys have a job to do as well.
Sure. Thanks for talking. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Get that.
Appreciate it. Yep, no problem.